Hello. Hey there. Hi, everyone. I've missed you. My name is Katie Haroff, and I am an Arts Engagement Programs Manager with the Old Globe in beautiful San Diego, California. If this is your first time encountering me on this page and my programs, hello, nice to meet you. This live stream is a performance presentation of a handful of original scripts that have come from the Community Voices digital workshop that we've been hosting on our page throughout the months of March and April. All of those videos can now be found on our page in the video section or on our YouTube channel. So if watching these original plays today inspire you to write your own, please feel free to start our workshop offering from day one. We're still collecting plays, we're still chatting with people, so you're welcome to join us in this process. For those that have been around, hello, hey you, hey friend, look how long my hair is. Thank you for joining us. My face hasn't been on the Arts Engagement page in over a week, and I'm here to tell you that that is about to change. I hope that you're staying healthy and safe and are finding incredible opportunities right now to be creative at this weird time in our lives. We in the Arts Engagement Department at the Old Globe will be continuing to provide you with as many opportunities as possible to connect to your creative mind during this time while it's not really super safe to be out in public spaces. We hope that there's going to be time where we can stimulate your minds in one of our beautiful theaters very soon again. In the meantime, we're going to continue to evolve our offerings on our pages just to fit right into this moment of our lives and hopefully allow it to feel a little less isolating and much more artistically fulfilling. That said, starting next week, you're going to start to notice new programs popping up on our pages. Two of those programs I will be hosting, and they're called Playwrights Unstuck and the Living Room Workshop, which I mentioned in our last live reading. And yes, they are a-comin'. Playwrights Unstuck will be a workshop where we meet and share the various updates of new plays that are in development by San Diego Commission playwrights. Those playwrights are Mcneill, who you might know from our Community Voices workshop, Jonathan Mello, Jessica Hilt, and Mike Sears. Every Tuesday, starting in June, we'll share excerpts from their plays and then have a live discussion about their work and share tools and how to help them move forward in their process. Myself and Danielle Majizamato from our literary department will be hosting that. We hope this offering inspires you at home to start digging into your own full-length play. Whereas the Living Room Workshop will be happening every Thursday in June as well. This will be an opportunity to learn about how to develop an original site-specific and community-inspired performance using your living room as your backdrop. Each week, I'll meet you in my living room, which reminds me I need to clean my living room, and I will, but I'll meet you there, and I'm going to share with you how you can develop your own performance experience that we will present together live on our page at the end of the workshop. These are two programs designed to be enjoyed by anyone needing some creative outlets. So I hope you'll join us, bring your family, and be part of these big experimental opportunities because I can't wait to work with you. I think they're going to be a ton of fun. Now that's enough of that. Let's get down to the good stuff. Let's get into our reading. Today, we are sharing 5 original short plays from some wonderful, brave participants of our workshop. All you have to do today to enjoy this presentation is kick back and have your ears wide open to listen to these wonderfully original stories. If you enjoy the plays and the performances from the actors today, go ahead and give us some emoji applauses in the comments. This is a very supportive environment, and all of these artists deserve to feel that good love today from the social meds. The actors will be playing a lot of different parts. Some will be perfect for them. Some are a little outside of their type, but the marvelous Mickey Vale and Gil Sotu will be reading the stage directions for each piece so we can visualize what this would actually be in the reality of this performance. In between each show, you'll see a title card and a cast list of each piece. And a little reminder, today's reading is another PG-13 one. We've got some adult material that comes up, so make sure that the littlest ones maybe aren't in the room for this. But that's all I've got, and I'm going to see you after the reading. Enjoy yourself and feel free to spread the love.
About what lurks in the basement. Suzanne would like to say, I wrote this piece within the context of COVID-19 so it could be relevant to what we're all experiencing at this time, a universal theme. I also wanted to take a deeper look at my own personal healing journey and recognize how far I've come. I feel many people may be able to relate to my experiences in some way. The doctor is an actual person who takes a strong stand for her patients and accompanies them on a powerful journey to what's really underneath the health situations which are showing up. Mind body work is also what I am focused on in my work in the expressive arts field, and also my part-time work with mental health with NAMI SD, National Alliance of Mental Illness. I hope to inspire in others that recovery is possible and that we can live our lives full out with joy, no matter what. What Lurks in the Basement by Susan Chaisson Mcneill. Characters: Anya, a mid-50s, high-strung woman, single and living alone, frequents doctors' offices continually, latching on to the next ailment and the next doctor. This is her 5th visit to Dr. Bhatti, and it's during the coronavirus pandemic. Dr. Bhatti, a general practitioner MD, originally from India, who is also a trained naturopath and Ayurvedic healer. Prior to this, she practiced psychiatry. She is outspoken and all about tough love. Setting in Dr. Bhatti's office in the San Diego area with the view of the bay on a weekday in April 2020, 2 o'clock p.m. At Rise, before Dr. Bhatti comes in, Anya is in the small medical room waiting. She tries to read something, readjusts her mask multiple times, wipes her glasses, tugs on her gloves, and then sets the magazine down. She notices another door within the room and tugs at it. It's sealed shut. Then she walks over to the window and looks out in every direction. She puts her head out of the window to see farther out as Dr. Bhatti enters the room.
Hello? Can I help you, Anya?
Anya
Hi.
jumps and hits her head as she pulls it back from the window.
Hi, Dr. Bhatti.
Yes, it's nice to see you again. Wish I could shake your hand. So, what were...
This view. I couldn't help. I haven't seen the bay in a while. Sorry.
Are you okay? You hurt yourself, dear?
Nothing like that fall on my head down the stairs last year. If I could only breathe in this mask or see through my glasses.
A lot for us to get used to. How can I help you today?
I'm having sinus issues again, all of this congestion.
What exactly are you experiencing?
A dry cough, headaches, right here. Oh no, now I'm touching my face.
Anything else?
My nose drips. I couldn't find any tissue, so I'm using my sleeve.
Are you sure it's your sinuses? No fever. Your vitals look good. Have you had any spike in your temperature lately? Throat ache?
No fever, throat's fine, but when I go out for a walk, people run away farther than 6 feet. They go to the other sidewalk, cover their faces with sweatshirts. They all think I have COVID-19.
You know it's not about your sinuses. We've talked about this before. It's your anger. I sense it's still all bottled up inside of you. COVID-19 is a mirror for you, my dear. You've got to feel it and let it go.
My anger? I came here about my sinuses. I probably need antibiotics. It's got nothing to do with my anger.
I'm not sure you're here or if you really want to be one. Sinuses today, what will it be tomorrow? You can go see another doctor if you aren't willing to look at what's really going on. From your history, you have plenty to select from.
No, please, sit down. I keep getting these pains. There aren't any other doctors available now, and I'm not going to meet with one on Zoom.
If you really want to be well, it's an inside job. You've got to go through it to get over it. You'll need to go into the basement. It's the only way.
She points
The
to the door as she
basement?
sits down about 6 to 8 feet away.
What? Anyway, it didn't open earlier. Locked.
The door opens for anyone willing to go in.
Can't I just punch a pillow or scream in my car? I can break some old plates. I've got some from one of my weddings. I'll slam those into some concrete.
I told you the only way out is in.
There may be nowhere to go with lockdown. Hell, I shouldn't even be here, but not a basement. It's dark, cold, damp, and smells like neglect.
Her body visibly shakes and her fingers are quivering.
Whatever you resist, persists. What are you so angry about, Bonnie?
Well, it's being told I can't do something. It goes way back. My dad was bipolar, and it wasn't diagnosed for a long time. As a child, I wasn't allowed to do much. For many years, I wasn't even allowed to talk in my home. My dad used to beat me. I feel like I'm back home again. That childhood home with no voice.
Good. Good. You need to let this stuff go. What are you doing to take care of yourself now?
But I can't. I can't surf. I can't hike. Nature is closed. Didn't you hear? I can't even go to the Y. I'm 12 again, and I feel like frozen like some ice sculpture. I can't breathe.
She gently cries and tries to muffle herself with her mask. She reaches into her purse and finds some crumpled up tissues and some sanitizer. She's adjusting her mask and blowing her nose into the tissues, then removing her gloves to put sanitizer on her hands, air drying, and then returning the gloves.
So you're on the stairway now to the basement. Keep going.
She does a high five in the air toward Anya.
I'm so scared. There's no light in here. It's untouched, unlived. But it's true. I've pushed my anger so far down, I just can't seem to deal with it. It's like a cluttered shelf where I can't even see it. There's this smell like shrimp peels left out for a couple of days, like rotting neglect. I can't do this.
I know you're angry. You can't let it affect your health. Stay with it. Put one foot in front of the other and please hold on to the railings. Anya, from what I know of you so far, it seems you keep trying to find the answers out there. All the doctors you see, all the gurus, so many treatments, acupuncture, somatic therapy, speech therapy, psychology, physical therapy, a shaman, naturopath, and all the other doctors. Did I miss anyone? Each one comes with a different opinion. You still want those answers, so many. The answers are within you. They aren't out there. You're so rigid in your ways. Go deeper into the basement. Where are you now?
I see my mom now in her pink robe. She died in it. 51. Younger than me. Cancer. I was with her in the room when it happened. Why her? Why did she get taken from me so young? How can there be a God if this can happen? She weighed 80 pounds. It's like you have a crowbar and you're cracking open my life. It's too much, too much. This basement is just so dark and musty. It's got piles of stuff in here all over the place. I just want to get out of here.
You don't know you're already there. You live there. You carry it with you everywhere you go. You think you created a safe world to live in. Instead, all you do is avoid anything which makes you uncomfortable. That, my dear, is not living at all. You either face your anger with which you've relegated to the basement, or you live in your fear, if you call that living. Your choice. What will it be?
Dr. Body, is there only one way to do this? Must I go all the way into this basement right now? Could I just...
The basement is there for all of us. You're not alone. We all share this place where we tuck away our past, the parts we weren't ready to look at. If you want to clear your sinuses, you need to find the way that works for you. with someone who can go in with you. It's a lot easier that way. But you must go in. I know you got this.
Okay. It's still so dark in here. But if I can get someone to hold a flashlight for me, then maybe I can tackle that cluttered shelf. It's filled with everything I've lost, my childhood, my family, my voice. Most of all, I want my voice back.
The space lights up and she points to a shelf overflowing with clutter. The words anger, rage, frustration are written on the items. Deep sadness takes up the largest space underneath the others.
You're so brave, Anya. Anything more about that shelf?
I want to feel grown up. I'm 55, and sometimes I still feel like a little girl with my legs dangling in a chair. My feet don't touch the ground. I can't keep going to all these doctors. Each one has a plan for me. None are the same. None are mine. Shh. Dr. Body, I can't do this alone. But who?
Art. That's what you need. You need to throw some paint and get messy. You need
Art? My dad was an artist, and we used to paint with our easels side by side until he became bipolar. I stopped painting. I don't know.
Trust me, Anya. Art is so healing. Let yourself play and create art again. You can get your voice back and let go of your anger. Bang a drum, finger paint. There's so many.
Wow. Finger painting. I haven't done that since kindergarten. It's funny, I have a drum and I use it for decoration, but who will hold my flashlight?
Dr. Bhatti reaches into her drawer and pulls out a card.
Here, Anya. This is an expressive arts therapist who practices nearby.
What's that?
It's all the art forms. Music, theater, dance, visual arts, writing, and more. It's not about being an artist, although you can be. It's about the healing. This will take you within. This therapist has a room where you can throw paints against the canvas on the wall. Work out that anger and make some art too. I think your dad would have liked her. He could hold your flashlight.
Thank you, Dr. Bhatti.
She turns around to look at the door in the office, stands up and walks over to it, and opens it ajar, then shuts it. She looks back at Dr. Bhatti.
I'm ready to clean that shelf soon.
Dr. Bhatti stands and walks towards the door and turns around to face Anya.
Being in the basement can be like you're in a cocoon for a while. There's struggle. Know your freedom awaits. The butterfly in you will come out. All because you're willing to choose your life over fear.
Anya stands up and they bow to one another with namaste hands. Dr. Bhatti leaves first and Anya walks slower. She turns one last time and stares at the basement door. End of play.
I Wish by Kyle Howards. Characters: Joe, a 25-year-old young man. Noelle, his mother. Setting: a Zoom call at 7 p.m. At Rise, Joe has been sitting in front of his computer for a long time. He is a couple of drinks into his evening and he is working up the courage. He dials into a Zoom. His mother, Noelle, appears on the Zoom screen. She has a Make America Great hat on and a big fat grin. Playwrights Note: this piece is inspired by a conversation I wish I could have had with my mother.
Hey there, Joey. It's good to see you, baby.
Hey, Mama.
You kept canceling on me. I thought we weren't going to get a chance to talk.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Even though we're in quarantine, my work has been really intense. We had to move completely into digital instruction, and it's been a huge adjustment.
That's just too bad that they're doing that to those kids.
It's just what has to happen right now. We're making it work. There are actually a couple of kids really benefiting from it.
Been watching all the graduation stuff online, and it's such a shame they're taking away these really important moments from these young people.
I don't think anyone is intentionally taking anything away.
Oh, yes, they are. That's exactly what they're doing. These local governments are taking away our fundamental rights.
Okay, Mom, I didn't want to go down this path with you today.
I know. You don't want me to get political with you.
I just think we can't really ever see eye to eye on things, and if we want to have any kind of relationship at all, we should try to avoid the topics.
I just don't know how you can disagree with me. I mean, why are you letting that California Newsom idiot restrict your liberties?
Not just me, Mom. Do you see how people are dying? We have to protect others in this moment.
You mean all that fake news?
It's easy to think something is fake when it doesn't directly impact you.
It's how I feel. And there are a lot of people that feel the same way.
Mom, I'm going to change the subject, okay? How are the dogs?
Oh, Jerry had some kind of growth on his neck. We had to take him to get looked at.
No, is he okay?
Yeah, he turned out okay. Just an old dog growth. We got it removed.
Did you go to the same vet off Grove you always go to? I love their waiting room.
Oh, no, we won't be going back there.
Why? They closed down?
Nope. They refused to let us come into the office without masks.
Mom.
And the stupid office manager was so smug about it too. He tried to give me a mask when I refused. And when I refused, he just smirked and said, well, then you can go somewhere else, Noelle. We're sorry to see Jerry go. What a jerk.
That actually sounded nice, Mom. And he remembered Jerry's name. That shows he's had invested interest in the dog.
What he had was a liberal agenda, and he had to use this to push it on me.
I think he just wants to keep people safe.
You know, I'm going to send you some articles.
Please don't. I've asked you not to do that.
No, you need to read all of the sides on this, okay? There's some really smart people out there in online communities I'm in. Doctors and scientists on both sides of this.
Oh, Mom, are you talking to people online?
I made a lot of good friends in some different chat rooms lately, and there are smart people out there really on the ground of what's happening, and they know what's going on.
Why would you believe a stranger over a medical professional?
Well, they aren't strangers anymore.
What does that mean?
Just that I've met them.
Like, assume happy hour or something?
No, they had some meetings and I went.
You went to a public place?
Not public, someone's property. We met. There were about 100 people there, good people. It was so good to see so many full American faces smiling and laughing. I got so many hugs.
I can't believe you did that.
Honey, I respect what you think, and I would appreciate if you could respect what I think for once.
Mom, you have asthma. You're diabetic. You're a walking list of pre-existing conditions, and if you get this, when you get this, you're gonna die. I won't be able to visit you or say goodbye. Tell me you hear those stories too. Don't you hear those stories?
I haven't known a single person that has gotten this thing.
500 people were dying a day in New York at one point.
New York is a liberal waste of space. They would make up information like that to break down the economy before the next election.
Stop. We have to stop talking like this. We will never see eye to eye.
It makes me really sad that you refuse to hear anything other than what one side of the coin that's talking. I made this doctor friend now, and actually talking about what this virus really has been, what this virus really is, has been so helpful. And if I ever get it, which I won't because it's not actually spreading as quickly as they say, he knows what I need to do. It's just like 15 minutes in direct sunlight a day until... I beg your pardon?
Mom, I'm gay. I'm very, very gay. I'm as gay as the man you saw that made you say ew when we were watching TV when I was 13. Maybe even gayer. And I don't think you're gonna survive this whole thing. And I needed to tell you now, while you're still very much healthy and alive, that I'm gay. I have been since I was born, and I will be until I die. And I know that may not be what you want to hear, but it's who I am. And if this is the last conversation we have, I would completely understand that. But I like guys, and I have a boyfriend, and his name is Todd, and he's very nice, and he's from Japan. And that's it.
Todd.
For 7 years. And it's been one of the hardest parts of my life, keeping him from you. And we haven't gotten married because I was so afraid that you wouldn't talk to me anymore or you wouldn't want to come or both. And this whole situation with you has all but destroyed my relationship, and I don't want it to anymore. I love Todd, and I want to marry him, even if we all don't have a lot of time left. If you want to hang up or not say anything else to me, I would understand.
When is the wedding?
It was supposed to be last week.
You canceled it?
The venue offered to push it back for us, which was really nice. So we got a spot in February of 2021. Hopefully that'll work.
Well, I would appreciate being invited.
Near tears.
You would?
Yes, Joe. And honestly, I already knew. I don't like it. It's not my preference, but I'm still your mom.
I really can't believe that, Mom. I thought you'd be so upset at me.
If your daddy was alive, he'd probably have some trouble.
I know he would have.
But I don't really care. Honestly, I think ladies are so much trouble. I've been waiting for you to come to me with a broken heart, and it's been pretty nice to avoid that while you were growing up.
Whatever the reason you're okay with this is good to me.
They both look at each other. Noelle is smiling at her son. Joe smiles back.
But you need to know this right now. I am not wearing a face mask to your wedding.
End of play.
Second Nature by Katra Laidlaw. Characters: predictability, young adult. They wear clean white clothes and keep their hair short and tidy. Their nails are short and utilitarian. They are often preoccupied. They're friendly and kind-hearted but sensitive, so they might not come across as such when first meeting them. They care a lot, perhaps too much. They feel the weight of the world upon them, even though much is out of their control. They are defender of life, defender of their heartbeats, their regularity despite the chaos of the universe. Though well-intentioned, their love is smothering. They are constantly fighting against entropy. Entropy, adult, although it's hard to tell their age. They wear filthy white shoes and an eclectic assortment of items and articles of clothing. Their outfit is often fraught with broken zippers, missing buttons, melting makeup, coffee stains, etc. They bite their nails. They're often engaged and entertained, engrossed with the task at hand. They have a great sense of humor and like to tease predictability. They love the randomness of the universe. It gives them life. Tossing together an outfit and seeing what the world will bring. Live and let live. Very few things faze them. They have a knack for seeing the big picture. Their love is expansive. Victoria, self-identified female, young professional adult. As a child, she was zealous and outspoken, always asking why. As an adult, she is diligent and independent. A builder, puts on a brave face. She has overcome a lot. Secretly feels desperately lonely and depressed. Loves deeply and faithfully. Breaking that trust is hard to recover from. Beatrice, medium-sized dog with a sweet appearance, floppy ears, and a spotted coat like a cow. Affectionate, sensitive, playful, and intelligent, her favorite thing in the world is a good belly rub. And the expert. Setting: Victoria's apartment takes up half the stage. The other half of the stage is empty and represents the world beyond the apartment. Victoria's apartment is clean and functional. Think IKEA furniture. It's clear that she doesn't spend a lot of time at home. Downstage of Victoria's apartment is empty and represents the space between dimensions, the underbelly of space and time. At Rise, Victoria's apartment is hidden from view by a screen upon which words and images can be projected. Light slowly rises on predictability, standing poised and calm on a pedestal made of blocks in the space between dimensions. The word predictability is projected above their head. After a beat, the word predictability disappears and is followed by the words projected one by one, collected, expected, and orderly, which then disappear. Lights rise on a pedestal across from predictability. Predictability looks expectantly. The word entropy is projected above the empty pedestal, followed by the words spontaneous, uncertain, and random. Agitated and embarrassed, Predictability gets down from the pedestal and shoots daggers with their eyes at the lightboard operator, desperately trying to get them to fix the situation. After several long beats, Entropy makes their entrance. The lightboard operator attempts to follow them with the spotlight. Pieces are falling off of Entropy's costume. They are tossing things, spilling water, throwing jello, and many paper helicopters.
You're late.
Am I?
E, you are making a mess.
You act so surprised.
Enter Victoria, lit from behind the screen so that the audience sees her shadow as she walks purposefully towards the front door of her apartment. Entropy is drawn to her, and Predictability watches with more distant intrigue, and they continue to clean. End of scene. Scene 2. The projector screen slowly rises to reveal Victoria's dimly lit apartment. The front door leads into the living room with the couch facing the audience. It's fall, nighttime. The audience hears sounds of the city and sees the yellow glow of street lights filtering through the windows of the apartment. During the course of the scene, Predictability and Entropy are present and watching. Predictability is clearly rooting for her. Victoria is exhausted and a bit frazzled but motivated, energized by the sixth coffee of the day in her hand. She carries a modern leather briefcase, keys in her other hand. She opens the door to her apartment.
Okay, you got this.
Victoria takes out her laptop from the briefcase and puts it on the kitchen table. She sits down and starts bouncing her legs. She starts typing as she speaks aloud.
The wake of this global pandemic is an opportunity to completely rethink how we operate. As executive director, I will reinvent our online presence, increasing traffic to our website and social media platforms fourfold within 5 years. Ambitious, yes, but we live in a world.
Her focus is broken by the loud whines of her neighbor's dog next door. She glares at the wall. Entropy smiles.
That is still limping from this crisis.
The dog cries again, even louder this time. She pauses to see if the dog will cry again.
We don't have time.
The dog lets out a long cry. Predictability glares at Entropy.
You have to be kidding me.
Victoria gets up and bangs on the wall.
Shh.
The whining ceases temporarily. Predictability wins this round.
Why do they even have a dog?
Victoria's phone starts to ring. Seeing who's calling, Victoria pauses before picking up.
Hey, Dad.
She puts the phone to her ear as she fumbles around the kitchen trying to cook some pasta.
I really don't have time to talk right now. It's going. I swear to God, if Jason gets his job. Experience doesn't seem to matter to them. He literally just started and he's been acting like Robin's right-hand man.
The dog lets out a sharp cry. Victoria jumps, slightly startled.
Yeah, that's my neighbor's dog. You'd think they'd come home before its bladder exploded. Speaking of dogs, I heard about Lucky. I'm sorry. Oh, really? I really don't have time for a dog right now. Thanks, Dad. Yeah, no, I'm doing good. Busy, but good. You guys take care now, okay? Bye.
Realizing she's burnt the pasta, she tosses it in the sink, frustrated and sad. With her hands on either side of the sink, she leans into the rising steam, tears in her eyes. End of scene. Scene 3. Setting Victoria's apartment early the next morning. At Rise, Entropy enters and artfully arranges a trash bag sitting outside of Victoria's door, and then takes up a position to watch things unfold. Lights rise on Victoria, dashing around the kitchen. She hastily pours herself coffee in a traveler mug.
I can't be late this morning. Focus, Vicky, focus. Laptop, Folder.
She scoops up her folder and laptop and shoves them into her briefcase. She runs to the door, pauses before opening it, realizing she left her keys.
Keys. If I were keys, where would I be?
She paces around searching for them, suddenly remembers, then extracts them from the couch opposite the front door. Stepping out her front door, she trips over the trash bag, spilling her coffee.
I swear to God.
Furious, she goes to bang on her neighbor's door, but she notices it's unlocked. She opens the door to reveal Beatrice, tied to the doorknob. Entropy smiles.
I don't have time for this.
Victoria walks past Beatrice into the apartment.
Seriously?
Victoria then exits the apartment.
Who just leaves their dog?
Looking down at her coffee-stained clothes, she rushes back into her apartment, flings her things on the couch, and disappears into her bedroom to change. A few seconds later, she emerges in a clean outfit, grabs her belongings, and busts out the front door. As she passes Beatrice, she pauses, her heartstrings being pulled. Exasperated, she puts down her things, carefully approaches Beatrice, grabs her leash, and begrudgingly brings her into the apartment. She picks up one of the legs of the couch and puts Beatrice's leash underneath. She turns to go and then dashes to the kitchen to grab a Tupperware, which she fills with water and places by Beatrice's side.
Water is for drinking, not spilling. I swear, if you even look at the couch funny, I am warning you.
Victoria dashes out the door, grabs her belongings, and exits the scene. Lights slowly rise on Beatrice and then the door to the apartment. Entropy slowly turns the doorknob to the apartment and slinks in. They take a couple excited steps toward Beatrice, look around Victoria's apartment, and smile. End of scene. Scene 4. At Rise, the expert, playing Dmitry Belyaev, clicks through projected images behind him during the presentation, very much like a TED Talk.
Domestication. Process of adapting wild plants and animals for human use. According to legend, the first wolves were domesticated by cavemen, an orphaned wolf pup hand-raised by humans. However, wolves most likely domesticated themselves. Although there is much disagreement among the scientific community about exactly when and where the first wolves were domesticated, there is a consensus that domestication began when humans started to settle down. With permanence came garbage, scraps. For wolves, this meant a consistent source of food. The wolves that could tolerate the presence of people had more access to food, leading to more reproductive success and a gradual separation from the wilder counterparts. Tameness, as we call it, was the trait they developed first, a shift in temperament that led to a whole cascade of other physical changes. Now, I started selectively breeding foxes in Russia in the 1950s. My goal was to investigate the origins of domestication by trying to replicate the results with wild foxes. Each generation, I chose the pups that were the least aggressive and the most tolerant of being approached. Generation after generation, some surprising findings surfaced.
Enter Beatrice, dressed as a wolf, being led on a leash by an assistant.
Here are my trusty assistants who will help me demonstrate how the process of becoming tamer led to the appearance of the domestic dog we know today. As the foxes became friendlier and more tolerant of humans, the first thing that changed was their ears.
The expert pulls the fake set of wolf ears off of Beatrice, revealing her floppy ears.
The cartilage of the ears became weaker, and the pointed ears that we're accustomed to seeing on wolves became floppy. Next, their beautiful silver coats suddenly became spotted.
The expert pulls off the wolf coat off of Beatrice's back to reveal her spotty coat.
By the end of the experiment, the foxes whined for attention and wagged their curly tails. 50 years of selective breeding in favor of tameness led to these astounding changes. We can think of a domestic dog, Canis familiaris, as a weak version of the wolf.
Victoria pauses in her cleaning and looks at the audience. End of play.
By the Pale Moonlight by Jessica Kiefer. Characters: Jessie, 38-year-old woman living with her mom again after losing her job during the pandemic. Hank, her 9-year-old son, who she is currently attempting to homeschool. Winnie, her 73-year-old mother, enormously eccentric, although Jessie hadn't realized how aggressively until she moved back in with her. Setting: this play takes place in a generously sized living room. You can see a window and a doorway entrance. At Rise, Jessie is sitting on the couch reading a book. She has a giant glass of red wine with her. After a moment, she hears something incredibly odd.
Ooh. Ow!
What the heck?
Ow!
Jessie gets up and crosses over to the window. Her eyes get huge as she attempts to open it.
Mom? Mom, what are you doing?
She can't open the window. She quickly and comically finds her shoes and puts them on. She runs outside. She comes back in, grabs a raincoat, and exits again. She returns after a moment with Winnie covered in the coat, clearly not wearing anything else.
Now, don't hustle me. I'm coming inside. Just stop it.
Mom, what the hell are you doing?
What are you talking about? I'm doing my spells. We need them right now.
What spells? What are you talking about? People could see you out there.
Oh, no, they couldn't. And if they could, who cares? It's just the human body. Mine may be old, but it's still magnificent.
Mom, can we please revisit the spell thing? What are you talking about?
Oh, I didn't tell you. I joined a witch group on Meetup about a year ago. We haven't been able to meet, but I'm making sure to keep up with my spells because I don't know if you noticed this, honey, but the world is a dang darn mess.
I don't even know where to start.
You want me to show you how it's done?
No, I don't. I'm a professor, Mom. I don't dance naked in the pale moonlight.
Winnie crosses to Jessie with absolute sadness in her eyes.
But why, honey? Why not?
I am a mother, and so are you. It's not people don't do things like that.
Well, that's not true. I met a whole group on
Meetup. No, I go that part.
But it's just not true. Lots of people do lots of things all the time. In fact, just about anything you think doesn't happen in the world, I could probably bet you it does. And that there's a whole flipping club dedicated to it.
But witchcraft, Mom? Are you serious?
Why?
It's the occult. It's macabre. It's darkness. It's, are you scared, Sarah? From The Craft. It's Angelica Houston eating mice. It's that recent horror movie that came out.
Oh, honey, don't you know better by now? All that stuff that was written to take down powerful women that are united with the world and reaped its benefits.
Why would people make stuff up?
Why isn't there a female president?
So witches have a bad rap for the same reason Hillary does?
Honey, are you living on the same planet as me?
Fine, but nudity is illegal and Hank is upstairs and...
I will not be body shamed in my home, Jessie. I am not wandering around naked as I usually do. I'm making compromises. I will not stop dancing by the full moon. I just won't.
But what if the cops get called?
I'm on my property.
I don't think that's how public nudity works.
Jessie, I have been doing what I've been doing for a long dang time, and I'm done having this conversation. Throughout this discussion, you have been patronizing, body shaming me, and insulting my sisterhood and my beliefs. You know what I was casting a spell for?
Not a clue.
For you to find new work, for you to find a higher calling, for the whole world to heal from this awful virus, for Hank to be happy during Zoom school and all that.
Well, that's nice.
Yes, it is. And if you don't mind, I'm going to get back to it now. A full moon only happens once or twice in a month, and we need all the focus and energy we can get.
Mom, can you please just keep the coat on?
Winnie removes it. She is naked.
If I ever need to live in your house, I'll wear a nightie. But you live here. I pay this rent. I am what I am.
She exits. Jessie stands, stunned. She looks out the window, wincing at the image as it moves. Hank enters.
Mom?
Honey, what are you doing up?
I heard a howl and then I heard you talking. Are you okay?
Yeah, yes, your grandma and I were just having a talk.
She glances out again.
Where is she?
Hank crosses to her. As he does, Jesse uses her entire body to block the window.
Don't look at that out there.
What?
I mean, just don't look, okay? Let's get some ice cream, okay?
Really? At 2 a.m.?
Yes, you have been so good, Hank, and I'm going to hook you up tonight.
Yeah, but you told me I wasn't focusing enough in math.
I did, but you did so well on your PE.
Learning how to do the Macarena and then doing it 20 times?
You killed that Macarena.
Okay.
Hank focuses back on the window.
I'm going to check for coyotes real quick. I bet they're who are howling.
Jesse jumps in front of the window again.
No time. We have to get that ice cream of you, and then it's straight to bed, mister. You hear me?
Ow!
Jesse starts to cart Hank away before she can. Hank realizes what is happening.
Mom, are you trying to hide Grandma from me?
Jesse stops pushing him.
What? You know?
Yeah, she woke me up last month and I came out and she told me all about what she was doing. It's cool. She's a witch.
Was she
Naked? Yeah. I didn't know we could be naked in the yard.
We cannot.
Oh. But Grandma said it was okay.
Well, Grandma was wrong.
But then why is she out there again now?
Because she is in control and this is her house. But you are my son and we do not behave that way, okay?
Jesse looks back out the window.
I don't understand.
What do you mean?
Well, you're my mom and you tell me what to do.
Yes.
But Grandma is your mom.
So
she tells you what to do.
no, Hank, I just can't tell her what to do. There's a difference. We are living here as guests as I find new work, and I just have to respect whatever bad shit, crazy thing she wants to do because of that. But I promise you, we will be out of here soon.
But I like it here. I mean, we have a yard here. Grandma said we could maybe get a dog.
We won't get a dog, and we won't be here long.
Hank is upset by this. He looks at the window and suddenly he exits before Jesse can realize what's happening. Then we see her watching from the outside and she gasps. She grabs the coat from the floor where Winnie left it and runs back outside. Off stage, we hear,
Hank, get over here right now!
No, I want to dance with Grandma.
Hank, you have to get in the house.
Jesse, let him be. He's not doing anything.
we hear a bit of a struggle. We see Jesse enter carrying in a kicking Hank covered in a coat. When he enters after, she has put on a lovely hippie robe. Jesse puts him down. They are both breathless.
I was going to cast a spell that you would stop being such a jerk.
You're going to get me arrested. Do you know what kind of people are out there, Hank? You do not go to choose if you're running around naked. I do.
Just because you hate yourself, it doesn't mean Grandma and I have to.
I do not hate myself.
You hate being happy. I never see you happy.
It's been a long ride, a long year, Hank.
I didn't even know grown-ups could have fun and be happy until we came here and Grandma showed me. So I decided to listen to her because I want to be the her kind of adult when I grow up and not the you kind.
Hank, that isn't fair.
Well, why does she hate things? Why does she always tell me to stop doing fun things and you tell me to do them more?
Because I'm your crazy old grandma, Hank. I get to be the fun one. Your mama has got to make sure you finish school.
Were you mean to Mom when she was little?
No, she was never mean. And I used to be happy, too, when I was little. Because of her.
She has some tears in her eyes now. Winnie walks over and hugs her daughter. Hank joins in. The three hug.
I heard tell there was maybe some ice cream at the end of this little fiasco. What say we?
Jessie steps away from the group and without hesitation takes off her shirt, revealing a pretty old sports bra under it, and runs outside.
My girl.
Winnie and Hank run outside too. End of play.
Sweet and Sourdough by Indy Zeleny. Characters: Jane, mid-50s, half-Asian mother of 2 teens, suddenly unemployed because of the pandemic and both stunned and exhilarated by the unexpected free time. Her appearance screams aging hippie, but her manner and actions betray a level-headed professional. Underneath, she's an anxious mom worried about her children and their future. Sky, 17-year-old out-bi feminist daughter of Jane and Max. She's finishing her school year online, angry about losing her senior year and missing her friends. She kept her part-time dance teacher job but had to switch to online classes. Max, the father, late 50s, is a public high school teacher in a low-performing district. Working overtime from the kitchen table, he endeavors to keep his classes running online. Sourpuss, a blob of sourdough starter in a mason jar given voice by an onstage human narrator. He's a wisecracking observer of the family, dropping the occasional pearls of wisdom, a Shakespearean fool. The non-binary character could be played by virtually anyone. Scene 1. Setting, living room and kitchen of a small middle-class home, midday during the shutdown. Space is tight in here. The living room is furnished with a worn sofa and chairs. A 3 by 4 foot homemade wooden dance floor leans against the side of the sofa. A flat-screen TV stands on one end of the room. There's a laptop on a stool directly underneath and a pair of black tap shoes on the floor. A table and 4 chairs take up most of the small kitchen. A cardboard screen bisects the table. One side is empty. The other provides a workspace for Max. He works at a laptop perched on a pile of books. An upstage door to the outside world is located between the kitchen and the living room. Homemade cloth face masks hang from hooks on the wall. Light streams in from a nearby kitchen window. If not otherwise specified, all characters wear casual pandemic fashion, i.e. sweats and or pajamas, and no one wears shoes. At Rise, Sourpuss stands downstage to the side. Jane stands in the living room holding her phone and cradling the sourdough starter jar. Sky sits on the sofa facing her. The two are frozen in mid-argument.
Hi, I'm a pandemic sourdough starter. I live in a jar. My pronouns are they, them. You'll learn my name later. Apparently, I'm having issues. Go and watch this. I'm about to die.
Sky leaps to her feet.
Stop controlling everything. Leave me alone. I'm sick of sending financial aid appeals. I don't know where I want to go, and it doesn't matter because college will be online and I'll be stuck in my room forever.
I am just saying that the deadline is in 3 days and we have to put down a deposit somewhere and we need a plan B. And
You're supposed to be my plan B. You've always said you got my back, but I get it, Mom. You lost your job. We can't afford college since we can't go on campus anyway. I'll save the family a lot of money and won't go to school at all. Happy now?
She flings a pillow at Jane. Jane starts to dodge the pillow, but it hits her in the chest and the jar begins to fall from her arms. Jane and Sky react with horror. Just before the jar hits the ground, Jane and Sky freeze. The jar rises to the top of the stage and the lights go out. End of scene. Scene 2. Setting, about 10 minutes earlier in the same living room and kitchen. At Rise, Sky is tap dancing on the homemade dance floor, teaching an online class via Zoom to 6-year-olds. She's smiling hard. Jane sits in an easy chair at the side of the room, her bare feet quietly tapping out the same combination as her daughter, eyes on her phone. An open cardboard box sits next to her below the armrest, a red heat lamp hanging over the top. Max works on his laptop at the kitchen table. Sourpuss, in the form of the sourdough starter, bubbles softly in a large glass jar suspended high above the stage. The jar will fall very slowly throughout the play. Sourpuss, the human, stands as before, observing the action, holding a parasol and sweating.
This is my family. Mine is the boy. 4 humans, 1 cat, and 6 baby chicks in a box.
Choose one quote from As You Like It to memorize and recite, and then explain in a 3-page essay its significance to the play. I'll give some examples. 'Tis but an hour ago since it was 9, and after 1 hour more 'twill be 11. And so from hour to hour we ripe and ripe, and then from hour to hour we rot and rot, and thereby hangs the tale.
And there I hang, missed from an untimely demise. Under ideal circumstances, I would ripe and ripe through generations. But now I'm thinking rot.
Sky stops dancing and talks to the screen.
So awesome. Thanks for coming to class. See you next time.
Sky kicks off her tap shoes, snatches her phone, drags the tap board to rest against the sofa, and plops down sideways in a chair.
Time travels in diverse paces with diverse persons. I'll tell you who time ambles withal, who time trots withal, who time gallops withal, and who he stands still withal.
Time ambled for my poor sister, who puts the teen in quarantine. Well, I've got the trots on a regular basis. What? I'm all about the gas.
Jane glances up from her phone.
How'd it go?
You were sitting right there. You tell me. I'm starving. What's for dinner?
Jane looks back at her phone.
Now, my co-mates and brothers in exile, hath not old custom made this life more sweet than that of a painted pomp? Are not these woods more free from peril than the envious court?
Easy for you. Try living in a glass jar.
Mom, I'm trying to talk to you. Would you get off your phone?
You asked what's for dinner. I'm looking up recipes.
The Sanderlings are having another themed dinner. See? Harry Potter.
The Sanderlings? The ones who did the Midnight in Paris dinner last week? Screw the Sanderlings.
Mom, everyone I know is going to the grocery store twice a week and eating their way through this pandemic, and we're starving. Every night is pasta or beans, or worse, pasta and beans.
Hence the need for me, a living, breathing, primordial ooze of yeast and bacteria. The promise of a bread-filled future. Their savior. Plan B.
It's not safe in the stores anymore. They just closed Natural Num Nums because 4 checkers and 2 baggers tested positive. I don't see your brother complaining, and he eats twice as much as you.
You don't see my brother at all.
Yeah, where is he?
Where do you think? Gaming. It's not fair. He's made for this. He and all his friends play together online 24/7. Just slide a plate on of beans under his door and he's set.
High-pitched chirps draw their attention to the box.
Ah, they're awake.
She runs over to peer in the box.
Oh my God.
What?
What did you do?
Max, in the kitchen, reacts to their voices and looks annoyed in their direction.
Shoot, shoot, shoot. Off you go.
Jane takes the jar of sourdough starter out of the box and claps on the lid. She cradles the jar.
I was just keeping it warm.
Mom, the lid fell off.
Jane takes the jar into the kitchen and sets it on the counter. Sky follows.
Can you guys keep it down? I'm recording a lesson for class.
One of them was perched on it. It could have poop in it.
Sourpuss employs the parasol as though he's dodging bird poop falling from the sky.
It's just added bacteria. It's all natural.
A loud horn honks off stage several times. Max throws up his hands. Sky looks out the window and bounces up and down, elated.
Who's that?
Claire.
Remember, at least 6 feet and...
I know.
Sky grabs one of the face masks hanging by the door, puts it on, and turns to her mom to show it's properly fitted. She exits and slams the door behind her. Jane goes to the window and Max joins her. The timer goes off on Jane's phone and she taps it to stop the chiming. She takes the lid off the jar and adds a cup of flour and some water. She watches her daughter as she stirs. Sourpuss tilts their head up and gulps like a baby bird getting fed by their mama.
How's the starter?
It just won't rise. I tried the heat lamp, but I don't know.
The heat lamp's pretty hot. Maybe too hot?
Just a smidge.
Body heat may be better, but it's eating so much damn flour. I won't have anything left to make bread with by the time it's ripe.
Sourpuss places their hands on their belly and belches. Max and Jane stare out the window.
Tonight would have been prom. The last 2 weekends were supposed to be the spring musical.
Did you hear? Graduation will be virtual.
Max and Jane are suddenly alert. They lean toward the window. They erupt into a panic, talking over each other.
She's grabbing something off the fence post.
What is that?
Oh no.
Jane grabs a big pump bottle of sanitizer and they both rush to the door and open it just as Sky walks in, her mask below her chin.
Don't touch the knob.
Sky's joyful smile fades. In her hand is a small paper cup of ice cream with a little plastic spoon. Nobody moves. Max and Jane stare at the cup. Sky looks back and forth between their faces.
There's no lid.
Did you take a bite yet?
No.
Why isn't there a lid?
Put it down. Use some of this.
The three of them walk into the kitchen in a tight cluster. Sky sets the cup down and accepts a squirt of sanitizer from her mom. All three look at the cup.
So it rode all the way here on Claire's car seat, completely exposed.
I don't have to eat it.
No, I know. I can take a spoon and scrape off all the exposed surfaces.
Jane picks up the paper cup and shakes the ice cream into a clean bowl. She tosses the cup in the trash and washes her hands.
I don't think she should eat it. Coronavirus can live in freezers.
Jane takes a clean spoon and begins scraping bits of ice cream into the sink.
Just remembered, Claire's mom works at the hospital. Claire could be a vector.
Jane places the bowl on the counter and backs away.
How many underpaid, desperate ice cream servers work in that place, scooping all day?
So there's Claire and the server, and then you add in all those employees.
Plus any shoppers waiting their turn.
Sky grabs the bowl and dumps the ice cream into the trash.
I would have eaten that.
But we hadn't decided yet.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry, Sky.
I'll bake a cake. Remember, I said I'll bake a cake. I'll bake you a cake.
And waste your precious flour on me? You need it for your precious baby.
Yes, my precious. He needs it. Must have the precious.
You know what? I lied. I licked it. We're all gonna die.
Sky storms into the living room and flops onto the couch. At this point, the floating starter jar has lowered to about 4 feet above the ground. Jane picks up her jar of starter from the counter, holds it against her body, and follows Sky into the living room. Max goes back to work at the kitchen table. Jane stands in the living room and magically switches jars. She's now holding the falling starter jar.
Don't you get it? All you care about is that stupid starter. We've been out of yeast for 3 weeks and you know what? I don't think that's healthy. That's a healthy relationship. Did you name it? That's what everyone does, you know, name their starter. Look, I know there are thousands of people dying and I'm privileged and I should be grateful, but honestly, my life is over.
It's not over. We just need to contact the colleges and...
No, I don't want to think about college. I don't need Asian mom right now. I need my white hippie mom.
Don't all teenagers think that their moms have split personalities? Well, mother is half Asian.
Sourpuss starts conducting with one finger as though Sky were an orchestra as Sky launches into her original tirade.
Stop controlling everything. Leave me alone. I'm sick of sending financial aid appeals. I don't know where I'm going to go. And it doesn't matter because college will be remote and I'll be stuck in my bedroom forever.
Sourpuss holds up a hand to halt the scene. Sky and Jane freeze.
There's still a lot to unpack here, but to spare me and you from the squabble again, let's fast forward, shall we?
At high speed, Jane and Sky mime the rest of their argument and movements from the start of the play.
Happy now?
She flings a pillow at Jane. Jane starts to dodge the pillow, but it hits her in the chest and the jar falls from her arms. Jane and Sky react with horror. The jar hits the ground, shatters, and the starter splashes everywhere. Sourpuss dashes off stage. Max leaps to his feet and runs into the room. All three stare at the mess.
Well, I can start over.
I'm so sorry, Mommy.
Jane looks like she might burst into tears. They all stare at the mess.
I'll clean this up.
Want some help?
Oh, help.
It's okay, I got it.
Max goes back to work. Sky exits. Jane gets a bucket and sponge from the kitchen and starts cleaning up. Sky returns carrying a small jar about half the size of the starter jar. Sourpuss steps on stage and watches.
Mom, meet Sourpuss.
That's my name.
What? How?
Remember when you put the jar on the lawn to catch yeast in the wild and the cat dipped her paw in it? You didn't seem to care, so I decided you might not be the best person for this job. I reached your Stardust online and stole a tiny bit of yours. I've been feeding it every night. What? I'm hungry. I like bread.
Jane accepts the jar, removes the lid, and admires the contents.
It's really bubbly, healthy. Smells right, too. Better than mine.
Sky beams. Sourpuss smells their own breath in their pits, and they positively glow.
Where have you been keeping it?
Oliver's room on his computer tower. It's turned on all the time, so it's warm.
Genius.
I know.
Also gross.
I know.
Think of the microbial life that flourishes in there.
Instead of cat feed and chicken poop, we got dirty laundry, food encrusted plates, unwashed boy bacteria. Could be quite flavorful.
Maybe.
Jane folds Sky into a hug the starter held between them. Sourpuss, unnoticed, comes up behind them and wraps their arms around them both.
Guess you were my plan B.
Ah, look. A momentarily happy pandemic family.
Max closes his book and speaks into his laptop. He knows this line by heart.
And this, our life, exempt from public haunt, finds tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything. I would not change it. Explain.
Blackout. End of play.
Hooray! And that's all we have for you today. Let's have a curtain call. Let's have all of our actors pop up into screen so that the audience can give them a round of emoji applause. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to these incredible playwrights for taking the time to develop these wonderful pieces for us. We had a really great time sharing them today. We're going to have at least one more of these presentations within the next month. We had quite a few participants come into this process after the workshop already aired. So we'll have another event for those latecomers. There's nothing like sharing new works with all of you at home. And like I mentioned at the beginning of today's workshop, today's event, we'll have new offerings starting the first week of June on our page, including Playwrights Unstuck and the Living Room Workshop, both hosted by yours truly. I hope you can join us. Next week, you can expect a preview on both of these new programs, an extended preview, and some event pages you can join and to stay in the know about our new works. Finally, if you are enjoying the free programming that's happening on our page, this is a great time to make any kind of contribution to the Old Globe through our Globe Rising campaign. We're just really grateful to those that have already made a contribution. And if you want to make sure that the Globe remains a staple in our San Diego community for many years to come, there is honestly no donation too small to help at this time. Thank you all again for being here. I'm going to see you on Tuesday with our Playwrights Unstuck preview. And tomorrow, you can catch the fabulous Laura Zablit on her collaborative performance presentation, Word Up. And tomorrow is going to feature the very cool Tara Ricasa, who will be exploring some fun with puppets. That's live on our page tomorrow at 6 o'clock. I'll see you next week, friends. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.